Hey everybody, happy Monday. I hope you could hear me. I hope you could see me. Happy Monday. It's June 2nd. Can you believe that? We're 2 days into June. And I am out at the garage sale one more day. So if I'm talking a little loud, that's why, because it's a little windy today. But that sun's about to creep over, and it's going to be something in the 90s today. And so it's going to be a little difficult to be sitting out here 8 to 10 hours straight. But today I'm going to do it. I got to take a break because I got some therapy today. And what I want to talk about today on this video is what I'm going to be talking about in my therapy. So, hey, it's a good correlation. It's a good connection. And yesterday I had an awesome day. We went and saw Chris. And it was just awesome, you guys. We showed up for our brother who is probably a little lonely in himself, and we just showed up, and it was good. It was good to be. He's a dry rider, and he's been a dry rider for a while. The garage sale went okay. We made about under $300, I think, for the 3 or 4 days. And so I'm going to do today just to see if we can get rid of some of this extra stuff. And if we can't, I'm going to have to find some totes and get them put away. But communication, before we get into the message, communication's huge. People, I think, sometimes take advantage of the fact that some people aren't good communicators, and then they kind of know that, like me, I'm not a very, very awesome communicator. I try to be, but I'm not, and I know that. I have a little bit of a lack there. Last week I had an issue. I sent these people like 11 messages and I didn't hear back, and I took offense to that because if we're gonna plan and do things, especially with my employment, and I'm leading a crew and driving your company vehicles, communication is vital and huge. I'm not going to wait till the day of to be communicated with about these jobs. If you can't communicate with me about a job I'm on out of town, then we got issues, right? And it made me cause for pause, and not to sit here and talk bad about my part-time employer, but you know, communication's huge. I mean, why wouldn't you communicate with me? You know, I mean, so it just makes me believe that, you know, I'm not wanted, and it makes you feel unwanted, right? A lack of communication makes you feel unwanted. Some of these feelings are from complex trauma, because I'm healing from complex trauma. I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm not going to share all that I've been in, all the sticky situations and all the times where I thought I was probably going to die, and times where I probably was close to dying, right? With all the drug use and the people I was around and carrying guns and robbing and stealing and cheating, and it didn't add up for a very good lifestyle. And so it gave me kind of a messed up trajectory in my early 20s, because I had a rough childhood and teens, and I was moved around a lot, and I went to like 10 or 12 different schools. But there are some signs. There's hope today, you guys, that we are healing from this complex trauma. And I have CPTSD, which means complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and a lot of us are familiar with PTSD, but complex PTSD means that it's ongoing, it's complex, it's current, it's still being worked on and in and with. And I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself, and I think that I have things figured out that I don't, and it takes me a while, and I have to learn the hard way sometimes. It's just how I learn, and that's probably the best for me. But in my older age now, I'm 42, I'm happy to share some of my experiences so that you guys don't have to live through that same thing, and you can see me and say, oh, you know what, I think he's making a mistake there, I don't want to do that. Or, wow, that's a really good point, I think I'm going to jot that down and put that in the bank and remember that for later, because I could use that. That's what I want. I want us to learn from the ups, the downs. And here are some signs that we're healing from our complex trauma, okay? Now, and what we're healing from is this distorted perception of who we were, okay? And these distortions can really wreak havoc, and it's hard to see past the distortions and the past when we're always believing what we used to tell ourselves what we were and what we are, okay? So what are some signs that we are healing from complex trauma? We will have a decrease in shame and more joy in our actions and in our thoughts. You see, we begin to be more authentic. I got my notes. This is all stuff that I've come up with, right? And notes. We replace our judgment with curiosity and self-judgment. We begin to be more authentic, confronting our inner critic. We replace that judgment with curiosity, self-compassion. We start to ask why instead of criticizing ourselves and going back to our old ways of treating ourselves. We begin to stand up for ourselves and express our needs. We no longer let others take advantage or disrespect us. We put into place boundaries And conflict doesn't always have to end in terrible circumstances. Because why? Because we are healing from complex trauma. We don't want to keep it going on, right? We want to heal from it and move on. So yeah. So we begin to express our feelings and we stand up for ourselves, okay? We learn to be balanced and we learn how to take breaks. We also learn how to balance between our parasympathetic and our sympathetic energy systems, right? Setting more boundaries and prioritizing our list of needs and our priorities is a sign that you are healing from trauma, okay? Especially when we have those boundaries and we're protecting ourselves from toxic family, friends, coworkers, employers, whatever it may be, right? Toxic people in general. And recognizing who and where things could trigger us into these old thoughts, ways, or behavior. Because we don't want to be triggered into those ways because those keep us in a state of trauma, right? So starting to recognize and changing our codependency issues and our patterns, right? We begin to avoiding and going into a dissociative state or behavior. And dissociative means basically running on autopilot, right? We kind of lose our self-awareness and our patterns and behaviors become kind of mixed up and jumbled. So we recognize how we can change and where we need to change sometimes. And we learn how to feel emotions, right? Staying with that emotion longer. To tolerate even an uncomfortable feeling means that we're developing and means that we're practicing mindfulness to tell ourselves that we can do this and that it's only going to last for a little while. Or, you know, self-talk is critical. I tell myself that and I tell the channel that. So we'll begin to have an ability to reconnect or find that connection to the things that we used to carry along with us and break the connection. We don't want to connect to those things anymore, right? And we would rather have a deeper connection with our true self and who we really truly are, not what we've told ourselves we are or somebody else has told us we are, right? Oh man, I love it. You're going to begin to have a deeper connection with other people. You're going to be able to trust with other people. You're going to have the ability to be more present while with yourself and others, learning how to share from the heart, right? When we begin to heal from trauma, we begin to see things that we can change, and we change them. We make the effort to change them. We do it, right? And that willingness to accept the things that we need to change is a huge thing in our lives. And the ability to confront these things is awesome. It's good. It means that we're healing. We'll stop bypassing our responsibilities and we'll accept the fact that we have to do what we have to do in order to change our lives. And doing what we have to do means to put in the work, whatever it is. It could be a health issue that you have. It could be a recovery issue that you have, a drug or alcohol issue. It could be all kinds of things, right? So healing, it takes a lot of personal responsibility and a connection to empowerment and avoiding the victim mentality, right? So taking responsibility to get healthy and doing what's important to maintain our recovery and healing without putting ourselves at risk is vital. Amen. So learning and discovering who we are so we can be all that we can be. Take the Army slogan, because we are healing from complex trauma. So learning not to live in fear is huge. Avoiding that fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, okay? And how we respond to triggers. Amen. Oh, I love it. And we start to begin to learn to live from within. Learn to live more grounded. Not so much in the limbic brain. And the limbic doesn't allow us to see things reasonably, right? We can reason better from our cortex. But if we get stuck in the limbic brain, things get jumbled, and we can reason better from our cortex so we don't slide into coping mechanisms. We start to catch the old lies right away, and we replace them with truth. Amen. We replace the old lies with truth, and we avoid chaos, and we will no longer need certain distractions, okay? Our value doesn't rest in external things no more, like material things, jobs, money, cars, etc. Most people in early healing and recovery don't have much hope, so we got to bring the hope, my friends, sometimes. Amen. We got to learn how to live and transform our lives and our trauma into a positive. We got to transform our negatives into positives, and the signs that we are doing that means that we can put complex trauma to bed and begin to heal and change and grow and use these tools that we learn along the way, because everything we talked about in this discussion and in this video is all intertwined, and we can be We can achieve these things through hard work, dedication, commitment, honor, loyalty, and hard work. Amen. Have the hope and the serenity, and be prayerful and mindful and responsible in your recovery. Amen. That's it. That's what I had written down. I love it. I had all this stuff written down, and oh my gosh, I feel a very big sense of achievement when I get a message like that out, because you know what, it takes time to research and to get these things down, and reading is a big thing. If you're not into books, you got to read, and you got to watch things that are going to be good for you. And I watch a guy named Tim Fletcher on YouTube. I have to give Tim Fletcher credit because he is a very good teacher, online social media teacher, I guess you could call him, and he does other things, but I don't ever have the money to go to like his conferences or anything like that. But the information that he brings onto YouTube is very critical, and the things that I'm learning in my therapy are integral to what I'm implementing into my life and into my life, or into my recovery rather. So I'm a little distracted now because I got people driving by real slowly, and I think they're gonna pull in. So I'm gonna finish with the garage sale. And you guys, don't forget to have the hope out there, because you know what? If somebody doesn't have the hope and you don't have the hope, that's two people without hope, and we can't have that. Now, if you have the hope and he doesn't have the hope, or she doesn't have the hope, then you could be the catalyst for their change to have hope, right? So just have hope. Don't forget. You got this. Love ya.